Hello, good morning. My name is ay.python. Welcome to the presentation and demonstration of the web school platform. This platform was created by the Winova Tech Nigeria. I am the CEO and the lead developer of Winova Tech Nigeria. Welcome again. As you can see on your screen, this is the web schools platform. This is a demo platform, and we'll be using this to demonstrate today all the functions of this particular platform. You come along with me. Everything that we're going to be doing here is what we would do at a presentation of this software. So I would want anyone who's watching this to just pay attention. There are lots of things to see in the software. And when I'm done, I promise you will be convinced that this is the right software for your school. Once again, good morning. As you can see on your screen, where my cursor lies, there are 4 buttons on the main page. We'll be exploring them completely one by one. The first one is the teacher login, the student login. The teacher login is where teachers log in to teach classes or set exams or check their broadsheets. The student login is where students log in to take exams or take classes or view their report cards. We have the complaint box, which is for every school to be able to monitor complaints and relate it back to us. And then the admin is where the school controls the entire system from. So I will start first by exploring every button in the admin. You're welcome. As you can see here, this is a little description. The Web Schools is the first ever truly integrated and fully combined LMS, that's the Learning Management System, and SMS, School Management System, sporting AI technology with the aim of bridging seamlessly the digital and physical classroom. Now, as this software is going to be a resource after the lockdown, as it is now during the lockdown, we have inculcated into the software, that is at the teacher login, the ability to input scores from paper-based tests, and also the ability to take attendance from this particular software. And all these things will be instantly combined into the report card. All will be demonstrated in this software. Let us start by first going through the admin part of the software. I've clicked on the admin now. The admin is protected by password because we do not want anybody to just have access to it. As you can see, we also have the finance platform up there, but I'll first be exploring the admin, and after the admin platform, I will go over to the finance platform to explore that one also. So let us input the password. For this particular software, the password is ABCD to make it as simple as possible. You can see the input box has changed into a button, and then we click on enter admin, and there we are inside the admin. The admin consists a lot of softwares, as you see, a lot of apps that have different functions, and I'll explain them one by one without missing anyone. The first one here is the bulk registration. As you can see from the bulk registration, we have the ability to register all the students in your school at a go into the software. If you, as opposed to this, create a new account, which is creating one account at a time, we are able to go to the bulk registration, which will help us create all the students' accounts at a single time. The bulk question, that's for the bulk registration. So immediately you have this software deployed for you, your school can completely at a go create all the students, or what should I say, impute all the students into the system, and also impute instantly their passwords and usernames and everything into the system. So the school doesn't have to bother about how we are going to transport our students' data into the system. That is taken care of with the bulk registration. The bulk question upload, on the other hand, allows teachers who already have their questions written out in Word to transform them to an Excel format and then upload immediately. Now, instead of the teacher uploading questions one at a time, the teacher is able to upload all their questions at a go without any problems. And that's for the bulk question upload. So if you're a teacher that is used to having your question in Word, you can transfer that into an Excel format, which we're going to give to you. And immediately you upload that file, the system goes and creates instantly that particular assessment in the system. The next one, with another button there, as you can see, is the create new student account as opposed to the bulk registration. This allows you to create one student at a time, and this one student is able to go in there and have his platform. We'll be testing that also. We also have the create new teacher account, and that allows you to create a new teacher account. And once you have created this account, the teacher is able to be assigned classes, and that teacher is able to take classes at any point in time, depending on what classes you have assigned to them. We have the broadsheet view, which allows us to view the entire score inputs in the system. We're able to view them one after the other. The entire broadsheet of the entire school of all courses can be seen at a go per class, and one is able to take advantage of that in this. The timetable is an interactive timetable system, or should I say a filtering timetable system that filters the view for every student. Teachers and the admin can see the entire school timetable at a go, but the students actually see only the timetable for their classes when they click in the timetable box. But this place here is where the timetable is created. So you can input subjects and the time for each of those subjects individually and the classes for each of those subjects. And of course, automatically the system would assign that to the student's view. So when the student clicks in, that student is able to see their own work. They are not going to see anybody's work except their own in this particular regard. Now we also have the view report cards. As you can see, it allows the school an entire survey of all the report cards. Probably this will be useful for the principals to have a go and look at report cards before mailing them all at once. But it is good, allows the school to go in there, look at the scores randomly, do a sampling of the report cards, and then at a go be able to, also answer questions in case a parent comes up and says this blah blah complaint about my child's report card. The school is able to view that and get going with that. So now we're going to look at the compress images. Compress images is a button that allows you to optimize your database. It doesn't allow, in case of when you get to the chart class, in case the school purchases a small server space, in case of financial constraints and has a lot of load on that, the system is able to just at the click of this button compress the images that would otherwise take up space on the server, allowing the school to use that server space longer before deciding to download that entire information to their archives. The send mails button, as you can see, is next. It's the filterable mail sender that allows you to send mails to all the students. Now, once the bulk registration is done, you can click on the send mails button to send the username and password of each and every one of your students to them. You can start with the uniform password because there's a password change button in the students' dashboard. So the students can change their passwords even though they started originally with one particular password. Then we have the exam controller. The function of the exam controller is that it allows you to close or open exams. But once the exam controller is used, the school is able to close exams, meaning that when students try to take exam, what they see is a display of information. The exam controller gives the school the choice of choosing whether to open up exams in terms of students just clicking and going straight to take the exams, or to filter it with an input, meaning that to require a password for exam that is for a selected group of students, or you can decide to just open it outright. So it allows the user or the admin of the school to set a password at any point in time that they will require the students to input before being able to take exam. All that can be controlled from the exam controller, which we'll be testing in a few. All right. So the next thing we have there is the admin password. Now, when we are creating this, we would have already set the admin password and would have given to school. As you can see, my own password was ABCD, but clicking on this button allows the school to actually change the password. Of course, no, I don't think any school would want to use ABCD as their admin password, as the students might just be able to guess it and tamper with things. So this allows the school to change the admin password to whatever they feel is fit, uh, and then it becomes a secure even for more staff to the system. Now we have the subject registration password. The subject registration password allows the school to register subject. Is a kind of filtering system that, prevents students from registering subjects, randomly. So it's only open to students to register at a particular point in time. And after the registration is done, the school can change the password, preventing students from registering subjects again. So for students that want to register subjects, this is actually not a complete necessity. It's only necessary if the bulk registration did not take care of some students, or some students came into the school after the bulk registration was done. But if all the students in question are already on the bulk registration, the bulk registration. So that's that about that. Sorry, I need to get my screen back again. The fluctuation in the network has out of the screen for a while, but I'll get that back in a jiffy. All right, so are you with me? Sorry for the break. So my screen is back. It's just a network fluctuation that took that away. So now, as I was on that, the subject registration is only necessary for students who want to register an extra. The school is just giving permission for registration of particular subjects at a point in time. So that's how that's going to function. That is the function of the subject registration password to restrict registration. But once the students are bulk registered, if there are subjects in the system already, which I advise any school to do first, the system will also automatically register all the students for those particular subjects that are already available at that point in time. All right. So yeah, that's that about that for that. Now we've dealt with that. Now we have the activate edit session term password. This is where you actually start to change the session or term. Once this is set, it will set itself into every assessment. And once an assessment is created, automatically the session and term for that and the pass mark. Now the function of this is that you set three things. You set the session, in terms of years, the start and the stop year of a session. You set the term, first or second or third term, and you're able to set a pass mark. The function of the pass mark is to work with the automatic promoter. If you set a pass mark to 25, during the automatic promotion, the system will not promote students whose overall average is less than 25. If you set the pass mark to be 35 and click on this button, the system will promote all students whose average mark is more than 35. So the button comes with a warning signal on it in order to prevent people from just pressing randomly. So you will see that in a jiffy. The manual promotion button allows you to promote students by yourself if you choose that you want to manually promote students for one cause or the other. You can use the manual promotion button. When you click on it, it opens up the classes for you to see the students one at a go. And then once you've done that, you are able to register them. So to promote them, so the word supposed to that, to promote them to whatever class you feel they should be. This could be useful for students who are going from JS3 to SS1, but we can also automate the system for you depending on the requirements of the school, that students with a particular score in particular subject should be taken to specific classes. And then the system could also still handle the process of choosing whether a child goes into SS1 science or SS1 art or SS1 commercial, as the case may be. The send all report card button allows the school authority to mail the report cards, the current state of the report card, to mail the report card link to all the parents and students in the database. Once it's clicked, to mail all that. Now, the reason is because the parents might not have time to continue logging into the students' dashboard to check. So when the school feels they should check the report card at a particular point in the term, then the school can automatically do that and make the students get involved. And so when they click the button sends a mail to every single student and parent, a link. And when they click the link, they can see the report card and interact with the report card. Adding to that, we have an interactable report card in this system whereby parents can actually interact with this report card. Now we go to add a level or a class. So you can always add GSS1 or JSS2 or JSS3, JSS1A, JSS1B to your system as you wish. So this is where you add classes and just add a level. You can add classes, you can add JSS1A, JSS1B, JSS1 Art, JSS1 Science, JSS1 Commercial, as the case may be. All your classes that you feel and how they are distributed, you can add them directly in here, allowing students in those classes to have access to the subject that are associated to those classes alone. So that's that about that. So now we have the home button, which takes you back to home. And we have the add a subject where you can add subjects. As I said, as you add subjects, you associate the subjects with particular classes, and then the subject is able to be registered for those students in that class. All right, so that's that about that. Now we are done with that particular one. So when the subject is added, alternatively, after the students have been created, the students will have to register the subject as the existence of the subject registration password. So the school can choose to open up the portal and tell students to go ahead and register that particular subject at that point in time. So that's for that. Now we can go ahead and look at this here. This is the school students. It's going to be, there's a drop down listing all the students in the school. As you can see, we have one student here, Ayonova, who's in basic one. Username is Ayonova name. Password is web schools, and then this is the information of the student. So now we have subjects, access to the subjects here. These are the subjects that have been created. Maths basic one, junior computer. You need to update the name of that subject because the subjects in this system must carry the name of the class in front of them, but this was hasn't been carried, so we headed that in there and make it carried. We also have classes, as we can see here. We have basic one and no class. We'll be adding other classes into the system to see how that functions and take advantage of how to add classes in using the add a level button. We have the web school teachers. As we can see here, we have one teacher fitted in. And this is supposed to be his picture. The name is ay.python. The subject he has been given to teach is math, basic one. The classes he teaches basic one, obviously, and we can update. From here, we can assign him subjects or take subjects away from him now. When the subject is assigned to a teacher from this portal, when the teacher logs in, that teacher instantly sees a button to be able to teach that subject. But when the subject is taken away, if the teacher had been teaching it before, when the teacher logs in after that subject has been removed, that teacher will no longer be able to have access to that particular subject. So that's how the web schools teachers platform works. And then we have the student assessment buttons. This is a place where we can allow students to redo assessments that they have done before. Once this is clicked, the students are able to go ahead and redo any assessment that they have already taken before. We're testing all this using the Ionova student and the teacher, the bilingual teacher there, in order to take full advantage of these systems. All right, so that's that for that. Now, going ahead into all of this, I would like to start first with bulk registration. Since we are here in the subadmin, I want to take advantage of everything that the subadmin has to offer. We will start with the bulk registration. But before that, I would want us to go into the admin part of the system, so the finance. We've seen this before we start clicking buttons and testing. I would like us to go into the finance portal and also look at what the finance portal has to offer. So I click right here on home. That will take us back to our own page. I will click on admin. That exposes the finance, and I click on finance, and that gets me to the finance portal. Now I will input the finance password for this particular system. It's still ABCD, and we submit that in there, and we're able to get advantage of that. So we click on the finance. That opens up a portal for us where we import computer ABCD. Sorry, I clicked on admin before. Now we include the ABCD password. Once we have done that, we submit, and then we find ourselves in the finance of the system. All right, so here we are in the finance portal. As you can see, the finance portal gives ability to the school finance officer to do a number of things. Number one, for the case of payments, when the students have for the system comes with an online payment system that allows you to pay online in this particular system. And once you have paid, you have no problem with the system. Now, for students that want to pay online, they will need access to school fees. So what the system does is when the online payment is clicked by any payment, Using the online payment platform that we have attached to this software, the system is able to charge the required fees. That's the completely required fees. If 1,000, should I say 100,000 is set for a particular class, the system charges 100,000 to the students, checking the database for the class of that student. If 300,000 is set for a particular class, the system charges 300,000 from the account of the system of the students during the online payment. So it goes into the class and does that charging. Also, payments can be imputed manually, and once they have been done, the students can also be approved from this platform. If they are not approved, students are not able to take classes or anything. So I'll be looking at the buttons here one by one, just like we did in the admin platform. First of all, the first button is create a payment, allows you to create payment. That is maybe a student just paid and you want that information recorded in the database, you can do that here. You can create a fee whereby you change the fee or create fees for particular classes. If you have fees for your classes that are separate, you can then impute it into the system so that when a student is trying to pay, the system goes into this database and extracts the particular payment, that's the fee, and charges that to the credit card or debit card of the parent that's about to pay. Now, we can also add school accounts here for the schools that want the parents to impute payments by themselves. That will give the parents access to know the banks and the accounts that they pay into. So once you add the school account here, it gives the parents the leverage of choosing between all the accounts imputed here to pay their students' fees. Now, this particular platform will be required, if it is required by the school during deployment, we'll bring it to the front end and allow the parents to impute themselves. But for now, it is imputed by the user of the system, which is the finance officer. Now we have the next button, which is disapprove all students. Now the disapprove all students button allows the finance officer to disapprove all the students, especially at the beginning of a new term. And then as the students pay, they can be approved one by one. So this allows the officer to reset the approval status of every student to not approved. And as they pay for the term, they are all approved. We have the home button, which takes us to the home and takes us away from this particular platform. This also represents a logout button from the platform. Now we have the finance admin password. This is where you can change the password. As you can see, my password is ABCD, but from here I can change my password. We have the school accounts here. If I was to include school accounts, I'll be able to check them from here and see them, the bank, the account name, the account number, and the ability to edit it. The next thing we look at is the payments platform. This allows us to impute payments. As you can see, the student's name, the class, the payment, date of payment, payment due pay, make the payment type, the amount paid, the balance. The system is able to calculate that balance by itself. So everything that is being imputed from create payment will be displayed there. Everything that is imputed from had a school account will be displayed in this school account. Everything that is imputed from create a fee will be displayed here. So we will come to creating fees later. The student approval place is where students can approve. As you can see, we have one student in the system and that student is not approved. So we will approve that student from here. But before we do that, we want to see the effect of not approving the student as opposed to approving the students. So that is that about that. This is all the buttons we have in this platform and all the drop downs we have here to help the school control their systems. Okay, so I'm going to go back now to the admin platform and begin to click one after the other on that particular platform. We're back again to the home page. I believe whoever is watching this video is already getting acclimatized to the view of this home page. The things you see here, population of students, the performances, and the demographic of the school will be displayed in this platform. We're going to connect it so that as data is imputed by the school authorities, this information will change if the school so wishes to display that information in their platform. Now let's go to the admin, and as we begin to take advantage of them one after the other to see how the admin functions. The first things first. We have the finance, the home, as we can see here. Let's go. So here we are going into the admin. So we're going to impute our password, which is ABCD. Remember, you can change that from your admin portal. Click on enter admin, and here we are in the admin platform. Now, the first thing we are taking advantage of right now is the bulk registration. We're going to see how it works. As you can see, the bulk registration, the sub-admin button takes you back to the admin, the home button takes you to home. Now, if you read what is written on this page, you have to successfully bulk register your students, ensure that all columns are properly named with the right cases, and that all emails are in email format. Now, you click on this button to download a sample. You now replace your own student data into that sample, and then you can just continue using. So now I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and download a sample of the bulk student registration file, and then see how I take advantage of that from there. So I'm going to download the sample, and then we'll look at the sample, and then when we are satisfied, we will upload that sample using this button, and then we will now go back into the admin to see how it has automatically created students in the system. All right, so we're going to do that. Now, remember, we have not created any courses. So when we upload this, the system will not be creating courses for the students. But it will be good if we are able to automatically do that and create courses and classes. But there's so many classes in this platform that we're going to take advantage of and create into the system. We'll be using this continuously to impute students and to test to see how it functions completely as we go ahead with this particular video. So I'm going to click on download sample of bulk student registration file. That will download the sample to my laptop, which I would then use. As you can see, it's telling me that I want to save the file. I say yes, and then I have saved the file. You can see the name of the file is bulk reg. I think I have one on my system already. That's why it's naming this one. So we can open that up, and we can see, we'll see the Excel format of the file right there. Now, here we are. You can see there are lots of students in this place, sample students, as you can see. And the classes here are JSS1, JSS2, JSS3, SS1, SS2, SS3, SS1, SS2, SS3, Basic 1, and Basic 2. This is the email given to each and every one of students. These are their names, they're just sample names. This is the approval statement of the parents to take advantage, take part in this particular online and the platform. And this is the date of birth of each of the students. The gender of the students is given in this particular place. We have the year of admission of each student, and the username will start off with none, and the students can really change that by themselves. All right. So first things first here, we are in, and then we're able to take advantage of this. We're going to be uploading the students, but the system is going to reject it if we do not have the classes that are written here created also in the system. Now, I'm going to be reducing this in order not to stress myself too much, because I'm going to be going ahead into the system. I know we have basic 1, so I'm going to delete everything we have here, leaving just the basic 1 there. Let's do that. So I'll first clear this up. I'm just showing this so that you know how to edit information into this system. So I can clear the contents, delete the cells, move my cells up. Okay, as you can see, those ones are gone. I want to remove the basic 2 student's name. Here you can see the student was called class teacher. I'll edit that out. So we want to delete that also and move the cells up. So that's taking advantage of. Now, this particular student thing was called class teach. I'm going to be changing it to use a random name, random Nigerian name. Let's just use David. David Zoom. All right, so that's the name of the student, David Zoom. There's a basic one. His parents' name are Mr. and Mrs. Zoom. Let's just write that. Mr. and okay, so let's not use David Zoom. Let's use something more creative like David Me. Something like that. David Me. Okay, so that's the student, yes. So let's start right here. We have Mr. and Mrs. Min. That sounds more like a Chinese name. All right, so, but I assure you it's a Nigerian name. So, Plateau State Tribe. So Mr. and Mrs. Min. Yes. All right. So that's that about that. The parent's phone number is given here, the parent's email, and that's gender of the child So let's see how we do that. So that's it. So we, Mr. and Mrs. Min. Okay, so I guess I can take advantage of the rest of the name here. Min. This is our kids. Okay, so this is just a sample. Giving consent for the online platform. I don't know if you're seeing this screen share with me. I guess not. So, sorry, that screen has not been showing. I'm going to go and share that particular screen. Sorry about that. So this is the file I downloaded. Sorry, I didn't know the screen was not sharing long ago. This is the file I downloaded, and this is a student sample here. You can impute as many students as you like into this particular place. But for now, I've imputed David Min, Mr. and Mrs. Min are experience name, as you can see. Then we have the date of birth, the gender. David Min is female. And then we have 2017 and none, a girl named David. So, yeah, that's it. So you can see that, and we have David one. I can change the name to Davida, so it's kind of a female name of David. So we see that, and this is the email of the parents, and of the students, and this is the email of the parents. We can change it to whatever we like, but just a sample of how you prepare. So this student now, I'm going to use this Excel file to upload this student. I'm going to save that. I want to save the Excel file with the name. But it's relevant since we know it's book one, reg, and we know where it is saved. Let's check on that to ensure that we know where this Excel file is being saved. No, we don't save it in the wrong place. So we can see it's in download, so I won't want to upload it. We know where to find that particular Excel file. So I've saved it, and then I can go ahead and upload it. So I'm going to share my screen in another direction again so that you can see where I'm going to upload that. Okay, so we're back here to the platform. As you can see, I prepared my file that I want to upload to bulk register my students. So I'm put one student in there, and I'm going to use this button to search for that file. In my computer, I know it's in downloads. Okay, there it is. As you can see, that's my file. I click on it, open, and then I click on upload. So I expect to have a student called David Min in my system. Okay, so the system is loading that. So when I look into that, okay, there we are. So let's go into the admin and check for David Min in the system. So we log in, ABCD, back into the admin. Let's look for David Min as a student. Okay, so there you can see it. The system has automatically created a student called David Min using that Excel file. Now, 20, 30, 40 students can be created. You can see that student is in basic one. We put his username as none, and the student put none there. The password, the email, everything was fitting correctly. Now I'm going to take advantage of this and do it one more time, this time with two students. So you can do it with 500 students or 1,000 students as you wish. But I just want to do it with a second student just to show critically how this system works. So I'm going to go back there, home, one more time, and I'm going to take advantage of that and see how that works. So I want to go back there. That should be up. Bulk registration. I click on it again. I want to go to my file. I'm going to share screen now into that file so that you can see it. So let's go in there. Okay, so I want to change this name, even the email. I want to edit everything to a new one, but this time I want to have like 4 students. So I can say Beam. Yeah, that's a student. And name will be Beam. Beam Han. Beam Cans. Okay, so that's funny name. It's a basic one. We're using basic one because that's the only class we created. We created more classes. We can use multiple classes to take advantage of that. Okay, so Mr. and Mrs. Khan. So of course, you can write it the real names of the parents, subject the student, and then we have phone number, which I'm gonna just okay, let's just put it random 080. Sorry about that. 08066652224, something like that. And then we have this email. which I will change to can, since the different cans. So cans, like family email. And then continue just to Mr. and Mrs. Cans. So yeah, cans in there. Then the date of birth of Khan can be changed to 2009. Let's say Khan's is a male. Okay, Bin Khan's is female. But this time around, let's make Bin Khan's male. Okay. And then we look at the year of admission for Bin Khan's. We can just say Bin Khan's came in 2016. I probably started a class and you can use the create a username Bin Khan's. So maybe that's pink cancer, the other pink cancer, pink cancer. All right, so let's assume that's that. So this is the full information of this student. One student, I will try to a second student. I'm going to copy this one because of the date formats and everything that I required, Control C. And I'm going to come there and just paste it right in there. Okay, so there we are. I think you're good with that. So, but I want to change some things. Rather, I think the pasting skipped a step, so that's going to create problems. Let me undo that and paste again. Let's paste this way. Okay, so there we are. So we can see a replica there, but I'm going to change it. Change the password from bin. I'm going to change it to Don. Okay, and the name is going to be Don One. So Don One. Yeah, so Don One, and class still basic one. Mr. and Mrs. Wana, right? Wana, yes, case review. Phone number. Sorry about this comment in there. So phone number, we change that to I don't know, you just make this 777. Yeah, so and then instead of cans at Gmail, we have something like okay, Microsoft Data and Smart yeah. So we can have something like Dawn. Yes, parent and child same name. So we and Mr. and Mrs. Dawn. Or Mr. and Mrs. One now. That's the case for you. And then the child is male. And then we have year of admission to be 2017. And then the username cannot be in Kansas, since it's Dawn. Maybe Donny. Alright, so that's that about that. Donny. Okay. So that takes care of that. With Donny, we can then go in and set the system. So I'm going to save that. So I expect that I'm going to get 2 new students when I upload my file. So let's go back. We're going to change screen now and then begin to look at that. So I'm back here to the platform and I want to upload my file. This is still the file, but I've changed the contents. So I'm going to be uploading this file now. And once the file is uploaded, take advantage of what you do there. Okay, so for now, that's that. Hello, yes, so now we are here. We can go into the admin and then take advantage of the students. The reason why we set it to bring us to the front page is after creating students, you might want to log in, 1 or 2 of them. Yes, we can set it to default to whatever you want it to do that. So we have the ABCD password set in there once again. And then we can just go in there and check and see our students have been imputed. So when going there, you can see the system has put in Don Wana and Bin Cans into the system. So beautifully set with their password. So we can log in as any one of the students. Now, there are no images here. The students can impute the images themselves as they log in to the system. Okay, so we have seen how effectively it is for the school to take advantage and just impute their students. Now, there's a search bar here that allows the school to search. If I just go IO, the system will extract for me just a simple student called Ion over. So you have a search bar in case you are thinking that let's assume we have 5,000, 10,000 students in the system. How do we go ahead with it? The search bar takes advantage of that, and then we're able to do that effectively and search and edit, update a particular student if we like, and go ahead to do whatever I want. So that takes advantage of that. Okay, so we have seen effectively how bulk registration works on this particular platform. I think we have done justice to that. The next thing we would have loved to do justice to is bulk question upload. Since we have students in basic one already, that is doable. So we'll be looking at how bulk question upload works. As you can see this, when bulk question upload was clicked, we have this. It says to successfully bulk upload an entire exam for a particular subject and class, ensure that the sheet name contains the subject name in correct cases. Add multi after space at the end of the sheet name for multiple choice, gap for gap filling, essay for essay, and math for math. Add columns, number of gaps for gap filling, remove options, and column answer type to gap filling. So we remove options and add column answer type to gap filling for math, remove options for gap filling alone, and for essay. All right, so this tells us what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So we can do that, and then we go ahead. In this case now, this sample file is for objective. We're going to upload that, and then we'll see how the others work in a jiffy. So let us download the sample file that we have there. You can see that. So we downloaded it. It says question upload. You can open it. I need to share screen so that you can see that. Sorry about that. So that you see the file that we just uploaded. All right, so there we are. You can see the file contains a lot of questions for this particular exam. It's just an extension of Excel files, though. We just have like 40 questions in there. Now, once this is uploaded, it will go and create an assessment in the particular subject. Now, if you look down here at the name of the Excel file, you can tell, we can change that to whatever subject that we have in the system already. As you know, there is no subject created in that system. So we're going to go ahead and create a Civic Basic 1 because this is supposed to be for Basic 1. So we're going to go and create Civic Basic 1. Let's change it. I'm going to change something else. Let's go create a subject first. So I'm going to change screen and then we're going to go create a subject. Sorry for the back and forth. Because without creating a subject, you can upload into the subject. The subject would not exist in the system. So let's go back to the subadmin. If we go subadmin, we get back there. We are going to now add a subject to basic one. We have a lot of subjects to choose from here, but these samples will not suffice because when you're choosing a subject, you have to put the name of the class in front of the subject in the format that I'm about to do right now. So now let's take advantage of that. We're together on this? Yes. Okay, so let's go. So I'm going to create math as a subject, math, and we're going to have basic one written in front of it. You can choose to enter. I need to change this to order so that the system is not confused because the system takes priority. So you can see if your subject is not here, please select order and type the name of the subject in the box below. So we're selecting order and we're typing the name of the subject in the box below, and we can submit. Okay, so now the subject has been created, and then we have that there, as you can see here. So we will take advantage of that now. So let's go check it. Let's check the subjects from the admin. Majority of the submits default outside because we feel the school might want to go test immediately after doing that. Or we can default it in if you wish in deployment so that as you're creating, you keep coming back to this particular page. Okay, so that's that about that. Now let's go ahead and see the subjects. You can see subject has been created for basic one, math basic one. Oh, we had math basic one there before. Oh, okay, so I can update this for another subject. Let's change it to you can say chemistry basic. This one doesn't do chemistry, so English, I guess. English basic one and submit. You can see this is the update, so we will look at that selection there in order to pick out that particular submission. So in order to update that. So 1 second. So as we can see here, we have come to the point and we've edited the subjects. So we now have 3 subjects. So I'm going to change this to computer basic 1. Let's see how we go ahead with that. Computer basic 1. So you see that computer basic 1, and that allows the system to take advantage of computer. So submit that there also. And we have that in there. So we can check it easily from subjects. And we can see, so we have computer basic 1, system would find it for basic 1, math basic 1, and English basic 1. So we're going to change that when we add it there to computer basic 1. And then we'll see. So let's get back. We're going to share the screen now to take us to the Excel file of questions, where we're going to remove the questions. We're just going to set a minimum of questions, and then let's share. Now, we're setting the questions here. We're going to be setting 10 questions, but in the assessment, we'll be randomized 5 questions. What happens is the system actually takes advantage of that and is able to, determine to randomize questions out so that every student gets a different question. So if you set 10 questions, you expect, if you want to get 5 questions, you set 10, so that 10 is then randomized between all the students you have, and then each student has something that is slightly different from the next student. So that helps us to combat, should I say, malpractice, even when the students are physically together taking this exam on this platform, or when the students are not physically together taking the exam. This allows us to combat malpractice in a very, very strong way. So once malpractice has been combated, we should have no problems with that. So we'll go ahead, take advantage of that, and then let's reduce the questions. So in order to have control, teacher can input any number of questions they like, but I'm going to be reducing it to 10. So 10 questions. Let's just do that. So we're reducing to 10 questions. The number 1 is there, so you have to stop at 11 to get 10 questions. Number 1 is just the heading, as you can see. So we've taken advantage of that. Now we can delete all this. Let's delete that. Okay. So we have deleted it now. All right. So we deleted it, and then we're taking advantage of that. Now I'm going to change the questions. That's going to be really laborious. First of all, let's come here and change it to computer. We change the name of the file to computer basic 1. Computer basic 1. Basic 1. And we put the word multi there to tell the system that this is a multiple choice question. If we put gap there, the system will give us a gap, and then we have to create a field called number of gaps in the system and remove the field of options. So that's the instruction that was given at the platform intro. So that's number of gaps set up, and then we can remove that and replace it with something else. Different ways of doing that. So that's that. I don't think I want to go through the stress of changing the contents of this question. So unfortunately, this is computer, and these are not computer-based questions, But the 10 questions that we let me just upload that. Okay, it's relevant to the content of the questions. As you can see, the headings we have questions, mark guide. That's the answers, the options, and then the scores you want to assign for every question. So I just save that. Save that, and then I'm going to go look for this particular one. This is question upload 1, and it's in downloads, so that I can know where I'm uploading from. So let's move our screen to that particular page, and then we go ahead and share. All right, so here we are. So now we want to upload questions for that. Okay, so we can look at this. We want to upload. We click on browse button. We can see a second Excel file that's popped up. So that's question upload. This is the one we use to register our students. This is the one to upload questions at a go. Just click on that and then upload. And this would create automatically. So having uploaded the question, we can see clearly that the question is uploaded. So we get into the admin now to log in as a student to see that. But we've uploaded a question now, and that question has been set in place. So to see that, we'll have to go in as a student to actually be able to take advantage of seeing that particular result. So we need to do that. We need to be there as a student and make sure we see that, to be able to see that particular stuff work. All right. So now we continue. So from where we are now, we can see that we've uploaded a question successfully with the bulk upload, and that has worked beautifully well. From what we see now, once that is done, the assessment is instantaneously set into the system. All right, so that's that about that. So the next thing to text here, we've tested the bulk registration. We've seen students registered. We've tested the bulk question upload. We'll be seeing the effect of that when we go in as students to take the exams, because exams have been sent. We're going to now test the create new student. And here we're able to create a new student. We could call this student Baba G. Baba G. Dadinkoa used to be here, still in mine, some years ago. Dadinkoa, all right. So, date of birth, all those things we're fixing. Password, the name, we'll still stick to Baba G. Dadinkoa as the name. Oh, Mom, it's right on my shirt. All right, so we can see the name there is Baba G. Dadinkoa. The password is Web Schools. We can set the class to Basic 1. And everything is set. And we put a picture in there once we have done with the uploading. So we submit that into the system. And Babaji Dadinkowa has been created. Now, Babaji Dadinkowa can choose to log in or not, but I want us to see from the admin that Babaji Dadinkowa has been created. So let's see from the admin. So this is the way of creating students in a way that is manual if you wanted to create students one by one. As you can see, Babaji Dadinkowa is now in basic 1. You can see his password and username all there, and data can be uploaded as we go ahead. All right, so that's that about that. So we've seen Babaji Dadinkowa there. Put that into the system, and now we can create teachers. As you can see in this system, we have just one teacher. Now we're going to create another teacher using the create new teacher. You can see the feature here. Right here, we have to assign subjects to teachers if we want them to teach. So I'm creating a teacher now. I'm going to create Mary Watson. Mary Watson. That's the name of the teacher. Our password will be Mary in small letters. Now the subject we want her to teach, we're just going to give her one and give the other teacher two. It's computer basic 1. Now the class obviously where she's teaching that subject. Sorry about that. The class where she's teaching that subject is basic 1. Okay, so that's that about that. So we submit that in there. And then that's submitted. So we go into the admin. We've created this teacher. We can choose to log in as the teacher, but we are not logging as teacher yet. We just want to see that we have two teachers in the system now. As you can see, Mary Watson is a teacher. We get her to upload a picture for herself when we log in as Mary Watson. Now we've given one subject, so one subject is left out. If you look at our subject, we still have English Basic 1. So I'm going to give Ayogbadibo English Basic 1. It's square to see a teacher that is going to be taking advantage of the things just announced. But let's do that. Let's give him English Basic 1. English Basic 1. Okay, so you can see everybody will now have both math and English to take. So we submit that there. And there we are. If you look at it, we've given the teacher two subjects in Basic 1 and made Watson one subject in Basic 1. So we can then go in and begin to take advantage of that. But before we go in there, let's make sure we run through all the buttons we have in this admin. So we've seen the function of bulk registration, where we have uploaded students, a lot of student actions. We've seen bulk question upload, which we'll be testing with the students. We'll be testing that particular part when we log in as a student and as a teacher to edit the exam. Yes. Now we've seen the create new student account. We've seen a new student. We've seen new teachers coming. We've been able to view broadsheet from here. That's the next thing we're going to do. We're going to click on the view broadsheet, which is going to take us to a broadsheet of classes. Now we click on the button new broadsheet. you would see a list of classes. As you can see here, because we have just one class in there, you can see basic one, and it says view subject because the broadsheet will now be per course in the subject. So as you can see this now, what you are seeing is the full broadsheet of the system of this class for basic one, the entire broadsheet for basic one. You can see that. You can see the classes and the scores. So David, I mean, these three were registered for Math Basic 1 upon being created. The reason why they were registered is because the subject has been created when they were bulk registered. As I told you before, when you bulk register students into the system, you notice that the system actually creates for those particular students what you are doing. So it has created this, has registered them for Math Basic 1 because Math Basic 1 had been created at the time when they were bulk registered. But these other subjects were not bulk registered in. So that's why you're seeing not offering because the students were not registered for these subjects because they were created after the students were bulk uploaded. And that's the difference there. So now what we can do with this particular system is for these students now, we have to manually register this. But next time I advise any school in order to avoid stress to just to make sure they create all their subjects and the classes appropriately so that as they register the students get registered for all the appropriate subjects that they are supposed to take. The system takes care of that effectively. All right, so that's that about that. So we can then go in and see that that's the broadsheet showing the scores of basic one as they go for all the subjects. As subjects are added to basic one, the system extends vertically, horizontally rather, and as students are added, the system extends vertically, and then until the broadsheet becomes the broadsheet of choice. All right, so that's the broadsheet, and this is the broadsheet seen by the teachers also for class that they are taking to be able to take advantage and do the job at hand. So that is that for the broadsheet. Now that we are done with that, we will move to the next thing, which is the timetable. Now, clicking on timetable, the timetable brings us to where we can see the timetable. As you can see, nothing has been added to timetable yet. We can come here. Now, this timetable is super interactive in that it controls the exams. The exams. Now, how does it control the exams? The timetable controls the exams, or is just for viewing for classes, for students to come in for classes. Now, if in case of exams, when this timetable is set, when it's time for an exam, when the time for an exam exists, the timetable, the system checks to see the date of the exam is there, and kind of not directly, but what I'm trying to say is that when an exam is set and the date and duration of the exam is set, the teacher in question is able to take advantage of creating a setup for the work. Is able to set the classwork, is able to set the time after that has been done. And if it's not yet the time for a particular subject, the students will not see it. Now, immediately the duration or the validity period of a subject comes up, you notice that the subject will appear in the students' dashboard when they log in to take exams. So the validity period of the exam is gone, no student can take that exam. Also, when the student takes an exam, the exam disappears from their dashboard, hence preventing the student from being able to take the exam twice, unless the school chooses to allow that student to redo that exam. All right, so let's set this for basic one. We just want to set the timetable for basic one and the date. There's no data in this browser, so you might have to move to a new browser to be able to take advantage of the data. Okay, so as you can see from here, we're able to take advantage of that. So I'm looking at this now, and just to show you the timetable structure, we could include the timetable. Now you could view the timetable, and we want to add the timetable item, as I said before, into that system. And the date wasn't going through. Now you can see this browser shows up dates. So some browsers do not show up the dates, but some browsers will show the dates, and that's why I changed my browser to one that will allow me to select the date so that the system will be able to receive that date. So this one is saying today on this particular time that yeah, this subject is to be taken. So submit that in there. So that's that about that. So the timetable shows this as you can see. So you can fill in your timetable accordingly. And then when the student logs in to view the timetable, basic one student log in, they see only the basic one subjects accordingly. When there's a two students log in, they see only the basic two subjects accordingly. There's three like that. And yeah, up to SS3. Accordingly, see only their own timetable. So that number one, the students don't go around searching for that, and then the school can protect their own interests by taking advantage of that particular part. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're done with that. Let's go on and back to the board and then see what else is there. Okay, so we're done with this. There we are. So we've worked on the timetable. We've seen how that works. Now to view the report card, this is a button that takes us to view the report card of all students. It's a point where you can click and then see and evaluate if we are okay with the output of the report card. Now this system has one of the most advanced report card outlooks. It's quite beautiful, I must say. So we will look into that now as we click on the button. But because students have not done exams, we probably will not be able to see anything. So it gives us a student list. I'll be able to click any of the students to view their. Now the demo account is on a free account. That's why we are not seeing the mail. But we'll go on with that shortly. I will show you the mails that have been sent by other schools that have upgraded their accounts. All right, so let's go on. So now we're done with the mail sender. And then the send all report cards. You send a list of report cards there. So we send a link to us on that. All right. So with the admin password, you can change your password, or you can alter it. Currently, it's ABCD. I can change it to something else. It wouldn't matter. All right. I can change the subject registration password. Currently, that is also ABCD too. And we log in as a student. We'll see the advantage of that. Now, this button here is to activate or edit session, term, or pass mark. I've explained that before. It edits the session and term to control the exams and assessments that we're taking and, assigning them into a particular term. And when you click on it, you see where you set it now. You can see 2019, 2020. We can change that to 2020, 2021 as the next session and change the term to first term. And we could put the pass mark at 40. So the system just checks for everybody above 40 passes them, everybody below 40 fails them. All right. So for the automatic promoter will originally the function promote students to the next class in the cycle. Once their assessment has been taken and they have enough score, the automatic promoter uses that to work. As we go ahead and fill in students, we would see where the automatic promoter is pressed and how it promotes. The manual promoter, on the other hand, brings out your students for you, allowing the promotion manually. So I can choose to go to a particular class to do promotion. And when I get in there, I will see this. So I can take any student I want and promote them to the next class. Because we have just two classes there, that's why that is being displayed. This platform can be used to promote students manually if you don't want to use the automatic promotion system. All right, so we have that about that. Now we can add a level which we've done. We've added the subject, and right now we go to home, and then we are going to log in as a teacher. All right, so let's go on and log in as the teacher we created. Currently, I believe we have a teacher in there. I want to go to the admin to check the teacher we have in there so that I can know which teacher I want to log in as. Okay, so enter admin has come. Let's see the teachers we have in there. Okay, so I have Badibo as our teacher. All right, so his own password is Mad God. Okay, so we can go in here and log in as a teacher. Okay, that's already there. So we see we've logged in as our Badibo. This is the teacher's dashboard from which the teacher can take advantage of a lot of things. You can see it's displaying a welcome greeting that says welcome back to web schools. I have valuable teaching subjects, displays the subject for class first basic one. So if you look up there, you will see a lot of buttons. Number one, if you look at it, the teacher can actually log out if he wishes to. The teacher can add a subject based on discretion of the school, but that could be removed if your own school does not allow teachers add subject. The teachers can set edit or edit an exam. They can teach a class. They can change password. They can view the broadsheet. They can look at the timetable for the entire school. Now, the e-library teachers can actually stop the e-libraries for the students to have access to these books when they also log in. The teachers can take attendance and they can impute scores into the systems from this place. So, in the case after the coronavirus, when teachers are using the software and they want to take attendance, or they want to impute scores into the system, they can take advantage of these two buttons here and take advanced attendance, or they can impute scores. And that's that about that. That should work just fine. Okay, so let's go ahead with that. So I'm going to start with the teacher class. Although, could I start with how the subjects there? We'll just follow it proceedingly how it is. As you can see, as a teacher, I can put the name of the subject, the use of it on the page, and it enters into the system. All right. So we've done that before, so there's no need of doing that again. A teacher can set to edit exam, as the case may be. So he picks a subject from here. Let's say math basic one. Okay. So, but nothing has been set yet into my basic one. So if I wanted to set, I would click on this button and actually set an exam. So let's go back. So that's how you set exam. To teach a class, the teacher will come in here and clicks on it. You can see where he picks a subject and decides either to teach a class. You can see to teach a class by chat, video, or Zoom. We will get into all that in a jiffy. The teacher can also change his own password from here. The password is MacGov. You can change it if he likes to something else. The teacher can view the broadsheet we had access to from the admin. The teachers, based on the courses been given, can still view the same broadsheet for all the subjects in basic one, and is able to do that. So the teacher can also check the timetable. He has access to view the entire timetable of the school. You can see we put just one subject there. So basically, if you put for another subject, the students will see. Teacher can access the library. You can look at the ebook list. There's no book there. So teacher can click here to add the book. We'll look at that in a minute. Our book has been added. Also, we can look at take attendance. So teachers can actually take attendance of students using this particular platform. When they click on it, they select the class. So if we don't take attendance, and we don't take attendance, we'll look at that in a jiffy, in detail. And teachers can impute score into the platform. Okay, so once the teacher clicks input score, it brings them here to pick whatever subject they want to input score to. These are the two subjects that were given to this teacher. So the teacher can choose to input score here, right? And he picks the subject to input his assessments into. So that's it. These are scores that have been imputed already by the teacher. As you can see, we'll get to how that functions in a jiffy, right? Just to show you one or two of those things. Now, teacher can take attendance also in every class. So if the teacher wanted to take attendance and the teacher selected a particular class, that teacher can take attendance in that class. We get to that in a jiffy also, as you can see. All right, so that goes for that. Now, all these functions can be done on your phone. You're using the system for the sake of just making the Zoom recording as smooth as possible. All right, so now back to what I was saying. Right here in the class, I've shown you what all of these buttons can do. Now let's start taking them one after the other. We've seen how the subject in actions, no need of that. Let's look at set/edit exam. Assuming the teacher wanted to set an exam, this teacher has to come here and pick a subject in which he wants to set exam. So let's assume I want to set an exam for math basic one. All I have to do is come here. Now you can see it says no exam has been set for this subject. To set a new exam, I will click on the name of the subject here, set exam for this subject. So I click on math basic one, and the system will open up a portal for me to set. As you can see, start time and stop time has been set, but this browser once again does not show that. So I will go to another browser in order to be able to see my time script that will help me be able to fix in the time, because writing the time, the system will not accept time written by hand. So I'm going to go into another part of the system to do that. So let's go on from here and then look at how we're going to work on that. Okay. So here I'm now in the Chrome browser, where everything functions much more efficiently. Primarily is not yet optimized for that particular calendar display. So I'm going to log in as a teacher. That's ay.python. Okay, so that's not here. Let's include that. Okay. and then the password is math god, and then we put that there. All right, so we can see here I've logged in here. As I said, we are about to set and edit an exam. So we had gone in there, but we couldn't continue because couldn't get our calendar to work. So here I'm going to go through the same process again. I'm clicking on Math Basic 1. I'm going to set subjects. I'm clicking on this in order to set an attendance. So here now you can see my calendar is displaying in Chrome browser now. So this is the validity period. The start time and the stop time determines when a student can ask the validity to take an exam, and the duration is how long they can take it for. Now let me give an hypothetical situation. In case you set the exam from 1st of July to 3rd of July as the validity period, it means within that period, any student that logs in and clicks on take an exam will have 40 minutes to take that exam. If the exam is not done within 40 minutes, the script will be automatically submitted and the student cannot redo that particular exam again. During resumption time for schools that take digital exam, we can just set the difference to be equal to the duration, and that will just settle everything from when we want the exam to start to when we want the exam to stop. All right, so we can even leave a 5-minute lab before and after the exam. That will not affect the duration of the exam itself. It's only for students who will not quickly click on the button, take an exam within the 5-minute space given. So that will allow for a little bit of buffer for the system to be as smooth as it should be. But every student would be only allowed into the exam for that period of time. And once the exam is taken, the exam disappears from the portal of the student immediately, and they can no longer take the exam again. All right, so I'm going to fix in my dates now. Today is 9th. I'm going to fix in the validity period from 8th to 10th, which is tomorrow. Okay, so from 8th to 10th. All right, so I'm filling in the form here. I put in 1,000 seconds as my duration. I want my exam to be essay. This will allow me to display how the artificial intelligence is going to mark this particular exam. So I put my exam in as essay. Yeah, that's that. How about that? My duration is this, and I submit. Now, time, session, all those things are fit automatically by the system, so they are no longer available to be done here. The data, the auto data, which we have already set in the admin, will fill that in. So I submit this particular scenario, and then you can see after submitting, the system presents a script for me to fill in my first essay question. As you can see, I can upload an image for that question. I can put in question here. I put in my marking guide that I feel the answer should be on the score. Now, the artificial intelligence in this system will be in charge of actually marking this particular exam. But let's set the exam, and then the students can go ahead to work on it. So I can just put a picture of a bird and ask a question. What is a bird? What is a bird? And so I could answer the question. I'm not a biologist, but I could say a bird is an animal of class avian. Okay, so they are avians. I don't know. So I put a full stop there. That's my own answer. I know that biologists will have much more efficient answers than that. All right, so let's see that. So we put in a score of 10 in there for that question. I save and create another. The system opens up a new portal for me to put my next question again. So I'm just going to I'll set 4 questions for this exam. Remember, the system is going to randomize 2 questions out of there for that particular exam. So let me set in another one. I could just ask, what is artificial intelligence? What is AI? Let's just put it at that. Well, you can just answer and say this is the intelligence demonstrated by machines. Okay, so I put in the score of 10 for that one also. That's my second question. I'm going to put in my third and fourth questions now. Let me choose an image. Let's see. Sorry about that. I don't have much images in the system, but I guess I could just take this is an image of the world. So I could just say, how many continents? How many continents are there on Earth? Okay, so sorry about my spelling of how and continents. Let's just use the auto control for that one. Okay, continents. So my guide, there are 7 continents. That doesn't pass as a essay question, but just put it in there. So for full stop. Sorry about that. Now the AI needs full stop to work because it breaks sentences by full stop and analyzes their meanings. Now this artificial intelligence does not use keywords, meaning that when the student, even if the student writes in a different context, the system knows what the student has written and answer. As you will see, we will not be answering the question and saying 7 continents in the world. We'll change the way we are writing it, and we'll see that the AI will still understand. You can see I've updated my answer to there are 7 continents in the world. Let's save and create another. Okay, so we're there. I'm about to create a new one. All right, here we are, creating a new one now. So we'll create another one from an image. I seem not to have many images here, but okay, so that's an image of cake, I think. Yeah, with single candle. So I can say um, cake is made of what? Cake is made of what? And I put my question mark in there. And then you can just answer the question and say cake is made of flour, sugar, and milk. Sugar and milk. Although if professional caterers do tell me I'm wrong, I put a full stop there for the AI to know when my sentence ends. Sorry about that. And then we save and create another one. So the next one we're creating again, that should be the 4th, right? Now, or maybe I've done it, but let's just if it's 5, the system will still randomize out 3 or 2 as the half of that. So I can just pick another image and just say, okay, chart. And I could just say the most famous chat platform in the world is what? The most famous chat platform. Now, remember, it's not compulsory to put an image in every question. I'm just doing that to demonstrate how the system works. So, the most famous chat platform in the world, is just not like objective questions really, but I'm just trying to make a point. So, the most famous chat platform in the world is the WhatsApp platform. Okay, WhatsApp platform. Then we put the score of 10. I'll do the first step there. Answer. And then just save and create another. Okay, so I think we're done there. I'll just click on O once I'm done with my question creation. And I can still edit this exam that I just finished setting from here. So if I pick a math basic 1, I can see this is the assessment I just created. I can edit it or I can add new questions to it. If I wanted to edit it, I have the ability to, you can see. Okay, so I created 5 questions. I thought there were 4. So now I can actually edit each one. You'll be able to see the picture and actually remove or add another picture if you do not like the picture. Just remove the picture outrightly by clicking on clear and submitting. But I think I'm okay with what I've done. So just go ahead and that's that. So I can edit, I can delete the question. Also, I can add new questions into the exam. So that's how the setting of the exam works. If I wanted to add a new question into this particular exam under mathematics, I just want to show up again. I can easily just click this, and the system allows me to actually edit my duration, but I shouldn't edit my assessment because that's not going to make the system is not going to know how to mark it. So this essay, and that's that. But that. So I think I'm good. So we'll go back to the home page. and then we can move to the next button, which is teach a class. For a teacher to be able to teach a class under this setting, that teacher must be able to select the subject. As we saw before, we saw that a teacher could teach in three ways. You teach a Zoom using the internal Zoom optimizer of the system. You teach a video class by uploading already recorded videos. And we could teach a class using chat. So I'm going to start with the chat class. We'll switch to the video class and then to the Zoom class. And then we'll see how that works. So I start with the chat class. And from here, you can see this. Now, the chat class allows the teacher to teach using chat, and the teacher has right to this variety of buttons. They can chat to the class, you can scroll the student, you can upload a file, they can upload audio, you can upload an image, you can go back to home, you can set the classwork, you can go and visit Studio View. We'll look at all these buttons now, how they work. Now, when the system is very long and is accumulated, teacher can use go to bottom of page to quickly get to the bottom of page to see what new things the students have added into this particular display. All right, so that's it. Now the students that are logged in for the class, their names will be displayed here. Now if the student is logged in but has not registered a subject, the name of that student will not be displayed in students logged in from the class. But if the student has registered a subject and logs out, his name will also not display in students logged in for this class. Now let's begin to look at these buttons one after the other. As a teacher, I'm going to make my chat now into the class. Before we begin to log in as a student, you can see, so text here, I just say something like hello class, and then I submit that. And once I do that, you can see my chat has appeared on this side. Now you can see that there are two boxes. Now this side, which is the left hand side, is actually made for critical information like classwork, scores of students, all those things show on this side. While this particular side there, we have random charts like uploading of images, audio, just for explanations. But when it comes to classwork, marking of classwork, display of classwork, all those things happens on the side, so that when data piles up, it do not prevent you from being able to easily track your classwork or your mark and everything. So that's it was that. So that's the chat to class. Now I could score the student. For me to score the student, I just have to go in and pick a student name I want to code. Let's assume I wanted to code Ionova. I will just convert this to ring and submit. And we're going to log in as Ionova to see that because that will not have an effect here, but it's going to have an effect in Ionova's speech as she's being scolded by the teacher. So I can also upload a file for my students to download. So let's upload a file here. If I upload a file like this image, this logo of the Ionova company, and submit, you can upload file, could be an image, could be in Microsoft Word, could be Excel, could be anything. You can see I've uploaded a file. Now, so I can tell my students to download this particular file. And when they click on it instantly, as you can see on this side, that has been downloaded here. So you could also delete as a teacher in case a student sets up a chart that is not good or is not that you're not comfortable with as teacher in that class, you can delete that particular chart instantly, and that's that about that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead to upload an audio. So as a teacher, I can upload an audio here. I just choose recorded audio file from my work. I think I should have some audio files in download. One or two of them. Some songs that I love to listen to. Sorry, it's taking time. Okay. I think this is an audio here. Let me take something on Dido. I have something on Dido in there. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, choice of music for everybody is different. So I take something on Avicii tonight and I upload this here. And when I submit, you will see this particular video uploaded, audio rather, uploaded to the class. Now, when I upload an audio, you will see how it's displayed in the class. It's going to give me an opportunity to listen to it myself, and as all the students will also have the opportunity to listen to that audio in that particular chat class. I know we're familiar with it all. So let's go ahead. It's quite heavy audio, so it's gone in there. So we can now see it. Now in the class here, as you see down here, you can see here, I just uploaded an audio recording. Click the link below to listen to it. So I can easily click here and then just listen to it. So instead of scrolling down, I could have just done this. It brings me straight to the latest information as you can see. And then I can click here and then log in and do whatever I want to do and listen. So if I wanted to listen, I click on click here. And then you can see. So there it is. I can listen to this audio. So I believe you can hear okay. Yeah, that was very loud. Sorry about that. So that's the music that was uploaded right there. Yes. I'll say, so I think we're good about that. Yes. All right. So that's settled. We can go back to the class and go ahead and do other things. So as you can see, students can listen to any audio uploaded by the teacher. Once it's uploaded, and then we can upload an image. So let's upload an image as a teacher. If we wanted to upload an image, you can just come here and then I could upload this logo. Think of Marvel and Avengers, students like that. So once we uploaded that, we can see the logo uploaded here in this particular class setting. So that's that about uploading image. Now for the classwork, we can set here, as you can see, 5 different types of classwork. We can set an essay, we can set objective, yeah, manual and manual image. And I'm going to try out of them now. So I'm going to set essay first, an essay question in the class as a classwork. It will be set instantly. You can see, just like it was in the exam. In the chat, it's telling me to write my question, so I can see what is a dog. So that's it. And the marking guide, we could state a dog is an animal and a friend. Okay, so full stop. So we'll see how the students respond to that. And then in scores, I could put 5. This is classwork and submit that. So that classwork is already created. As you can see, it has come into the classwork portal and it has created the classwork for all students that are registered for the class. Now, the students are all registered for math class, as you can see, because the reason why they're registered for math class already, as you can see, David Mean, those students that are actually there, that were there, because they've not logged in, that's why their names are not displaying here. But the system has automatically created this book for them, and anytime they log in, they will be able to take it. So being cancelled, and the system is notifying the teacher that David Mean, Donwana, and Bin Cans, who have been registered automatically in our bulk registration, have not done their classwork. So the system is notifying these people that their classworks have not been done. So we're going to go in there and rectify that, and then we'll see how that works. And students will do the classwork and stuff. So this is the first type of question. We're going to go also create the second type of question, because our lowest is test all, which is the objective question. And the objective question is a bit different. We can say, what is a dog? And then we can say the correct answer is an animal. Okay, so full stop. I don't need a full stop. This is the objective. So you can come here. You can see it says option A sample. So the sample is telling you that you don't need to write A, B, C in your options. Just delete what we've written there and leave your option 1, 2, 3. So the first option is automatically taken by the system as the option A. So I could make that a person. So a dog is a person. Option A. Option B. A dog is an animal. That's option B. Option C. The dog is a vehicle. Vehicle. So, oh my spelling. Vehicle. And option 4, we can say a dog is a cat. That's really going out of bounds. Yes, I think the professional so take advantage of that and make it better. So we give a score of 5 for that particular type of classwork, and then we submit. Okay, so our classworks have been submitted, as we can see here. So that's that about that. You can see it has created the classwork again for the students. This new classwork. Sorry about that. Control this stuff. So for the students, you can see that now the teacher has the opportunity to lock this classwork. As you can see, the button lock classwork has come up here. By the time you open up the students and log in as students in another browser, we'll be taking advantage of what this lock classwork means, and whether we can lock a classwork up or do anything. But we'll take advantage of that in this particular place as we begin to do this particular work. So I'll use another browser because of the logout sequence, so that my teacher will not be logged out once the student clicks on that and tries to log in. So that's that about that. So you can see that. So now I've set that, I can still go ahead and set the gap filling question. So that one now, in this case now, I simply just put my question, still the same question, what is a dog? what is a dog? And the answer remains the same. But this time is marking guide, so I can say a dog is an animal. Or instead of that, I can just say an animal. An animal. Okay, so now the marking guide, number of gaps, one. Okay, so I think we say types of dog. Okay, sorry. Let's say something like mention three types of dog. Right, so let's see how that's going to work when we say mention three types of dogs. So we see that. So let's take it out. So we're gonna mention three types of dogs. So now I could come in here and begin to put in my types. I could say a Doberman. I could say German Shepherd. Okay, so we can see my screen now. This we are looking at setting up fill in the gap questions. And we're putting the marking guide. It's types of dog, three types of dog. We've mentioned Doberman, German Shepherd, and Rottweiler. I don't even know how to spell Rottweiler. Weiler. I don't think so. So okay, so this one was corrected. Shepherd, German Shepherd, and the Doberman. Okay, so that's correct. So three, and then number of gaps is three. And we set that in there. And the score for this question could be 15 because the system is going to divide the score by 10. Okay, so we've done that. You can see it has set that one again. So the essay classwork was the last one I set. The most recent one is the fill in the gap. Now you can see that here, gap filling classwork right here. Okay, so I can lock any one of those classworks. If I feel the students have wasted time and I can't see them submitting, I could lock it up and prevent them from having access to that particular classwork. So go to the bottom of the page and get that clicked right there. As you can see on the platform now, you can see that the scores have been imputed, the questions have been set, the gap filling question has been set. Teacher can actually lock it if he likes, but I'm not locking that for now. So I'm going to go set a manual question. So a manual question will give me the opportunity to set a manual that I would mark myself. As a teacher, if a teacher wanted to mark a question, he could click on set manual. And when it comes here, it fills in a question. A question like this and says, what is a dog? And I can take my time to take advantage and, score it myself. So what's a dog is filled in. You can see at the bottom of the page, if you click there, you would see the manual classwork has been set up for all the students. You can see it here. You set a manual classwork on September 9th, and this is for all the students that have not done that. So now we could also go ahead and set a manual image classwork, and I'll explain what that is in a jiffy. You can see the manual image classwork has a space for a question. I don't have a picture of a dog, so I can just choose a file, and I'm sure I don't have a dog picture. So what do I do? I just put any file there. Do I have anything that looks like a dog? Remotely looks like a dog? Okay, so I'm just putting cake. I guess dogs most like cakes. So just put a cake there. Sorry about that. So you could upload anything. That's the manual image is actually designed to create questions where the students want to snap their notes and actually submit. So they could actually, the same way the teacher could, especially when the teacher also wants to snap a set of questions and submit them on so that the teacher doesn't have to type. So you can easily snap them and set them, and the database handles the structuring of scores and everything into this particular form. So the teacher could upload that the way I've uploaded my image and then submit after asking what's a dog. So the question is also set into the system. We'll see that in a minute. As we see now, it has been set for all the students. As a teacher, I can actually do my work and I set a manual image marker on this. So if you take advantage of this setup and then work around it. So this one. So as we can see now from this, we can see that the manual image marker has been set twice, and you can see the students' stuffs has been popped up. So that's manual image marker, and the fact that the students have not done the first one or the second one has been listed out for the teacher to see. So that's what this side is for. This side on the left is for classwork. The side on the right is for random charts. As you see the random chart image uploads we had originally here, hello class and download, and the image and the symbols and the audio all stay on that side to allow a kind of organization for the system. So you can see we have set 5 different types of classwork. You will see the students do some of them. We'll see the teachers mark some of them as we go into to do. So this is whole, basically for the chart class. The teacher can do this, can mark, can lock a classwork. We'll still be testing that once we go into students alongside with the teacher's platform to test that particular marking and see how it works. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's go to home. That should be the teacher's home at the bottom of the page. Let's go to home at the bottom and then we'll see how it goes. So home. Okay, so there we go. So we're at the home now. Having looked at teacher class, I want to go to the second type of teaching of class, which is where we pick up a video to upload. So for maths class, imagine the teacher had a video to upload, simply came here. Now this video upload system allows you to add the video to the class, but the video has to be a link from a YouTube video. So I'll be opening YouTube and getting a link, YouTube link will attach to a subject to Maths Basic 1. The topic, let's find something on angles. Just zoom in, explanation here. Introduction to angles. Introduction to angles. Now I can attach a file or an audio file to this if I wanted to explain something for myself without bugging the video, or a worksheet if I wanted to upload a worksheet for the students of lower classes to do alongside with the video and with the audio. So the YouTube link here, we can take advantage of it. So I'm going to go on YouTube now. I like to share that. Okay, since we're still on here, just open a new tab in this same browser. We can see that, I believe, and just look at YouTube, and then we get something mathematical from YouTube. If it was your file, you'd have to open a YouTube account and just upload it there. And then once you've done that, you can bring the link there, and the system controls the link. Are you with me? So let's look at mathematical introduction. Okay, so we have something here. Oh, nice. So mathematical introduction to practice problem. I think I should say basic 1. Basic 1. Okay, so all right, so it's not even basic 1 right there. So I think they use grade, internationally. It's known as grade 1. So let's go with grade 1. Okay, so my mathematical induction is still there. Okay, so anyways, you upload your video here to YouTube and then you pick it. I guess my mathematical introduction is always seamless. Let me just take one. Principle of mathematical induction. And then we skip this advert. And okay, so we click on share right here. See my cursor. You go to share after uploading your video, and you just copy the link you see here. Just copy. Now, once you copy that link and close that, we can close YouTube altogether, and then we come here, and then we can just clear this, put the YouTube link. So that's our link. So I can choose to upload the audio or not. It's relevant. And then I submit that, and you can see it instantly creates a video in that class. So students can actually watch this video at their leisure time, how they like, whatever they like. They can look at the video and then make the video quite nice. So that's that. So it's a lovely place for the students to interact with. So as a teacher, I can come here. As a student, I come here and play video. Now, keep in mind that the video for Basic 1 will only be seen by Basic 1 students when they log in and enter into the video class. A student that is not a Basic 1 student will not see this video once the teacher has attached that video to the Basic 1 structure. That's that about the uploading of that particular video. So I believe we are there on that. And then we could also go in there. We've done that. Okay, so we could, yeah, so let's go on. And let's try now to work on the Zoom class and see how the Zoom class works. This is a Zoom recording I'm doing right now, taking advantage of the Zoom structure. So, but I will still show how it works in there. So you pick the subject, you want to go into the Zoom class. So click on that, and then you can see here what we have. So here we have the date, month, and year. We're fixing there the start time of Zoom class, the password, the ID, and the Zoom link. Once you do that and click create, every student can enter into the class without you mailing them. This system distributes your Zoom link to every single student. As we enter into the student platform, we will see how the students will click into the Zoom, and then we see how that works from there. But every student just takes advantage of that particular. So if I was to create a Zoom meeting, postpone Zoom meeting for a particular time, and I just put in the link there on my students will be able to access that Zoom meeting using that link. All right, so that's that about that. So I'd like to do that right now, but we'll test that before the end of the video. I'm thinking how I'm going to do that, but I would have to create a Zoom meeting, futuristic Zoom meeting, and then we'll know how to do from there. All right, so that's that about that. So let's go back. And then yeah, so yeah. Now you can teach programming of Python, HTML, or JavaScript in this particular place using taking advantage of this teach code class here. Now the teach code class allows you to enter the code script for any student. Now this is the code script for the students that have been recorded here. I can enter into their code script and correct them as the case may be. I would have to create a script for every student. But once I have done that, I can enter into their script and correct their codes and then tell them to run it again, and then they run it if they're at home or in school, and then we can share the IDE and learn how to write programs. So you can teach programming from here using taking advantage of all of this. And when they click on it, because we've not prepped this class yet, because the teacher is supposed to prep a script for every single student, we're showing how it's done in a minute, so that we can use this particular program for to teach programming. That's that. Okay, so we've seen all that. We're done. The four ways you can do it. You can teach chat class, video class, Zoom class, or you can teach programming code in that. All right, so let's go back on. So we are at the room now. Yeah, so the teacher can change his password. If I click on change password, I would say please change my password from Mac to something else. We can view the broadsheet. The teacher can view his broadsheet, take advantage of it, and look at the subject. I believe we have seen that at work before, the basic one. Okay, so no exam has been done, no scores imputed. We can view the timetable for the entire school. I believe I've shown that we've only included one subject in there. The e-library, we've seen that. Also, now the e-library, there's a book list and the teacher can actually add the book. So if I was to add the book as a teacher, let's say the name of the book was Time Machine. I do not have the book, but I'm just writing this. Time Machine by H.G. Wells. I could take a cover of the book and snap it. So let's assume that's the cover of Time Machine. I want to associate this book with Basic 1, and then I want to associate this book with Math in Basic 1. So I want to choose my book now. Let's see. So choose a book. Okay, so let me see. The book is PDF. So I don't know if you have any PDF files. So because I don't think so. So let's look at this. Let's check on desktop whether we have one, two. PDF. Okay, so that's it. So basic math one. That's a PDF file. So I to submit. And we'll see how that will be created there. So the ebook lister is active. You can see the book is created. It takes up the entire space of the screen because there's no other book there. As books come, this one will compress away and the other books take advantage. So I could read the book in this platform right from inside, and we have this ID, or should I say GUI of yeah, reading. So you read directly in the platform. Doesn't take you anywhere. You just read and you read. Just read and read and read. Take advantage of it. You can scroll down to whatever you want. You don't have to download to fill up space and devices. You can just go on the platform and read the book. So that's that about that. So now you see the ebook, we start to add the ebook to it. Let's go back. Okay, so now we've put in that there. Let's click on. Okay, so we are out. So I would like to log in as a teacher again. Let's take a log in as a teacher. ay.python. Okay, so there I am. I've seen impute score. Okay, so take attendance and do library. We've done the library. Let's take attendance now and see how that works. So now if I want to take attendance for basic one, then all the students are basic one. So I come here and I take attendance, which is going to reflect in the report card. So I come here and I mark the students accordingly. So let's say they're all present. Call their name and mark their attendance. This will be useful after the lockdown, as well as the score imputing will be extremely useful. So we've done that, and then we just submit. Okay, so we've done that. We've taken attendance to that particular class. We're not able to take attendance twice. We can take attendance twice. Once attendance is taken twice, that is already an evening attendance. You can no longer take attendance in that class. The reason why we're still seeing basic one is because we are taking on the morning attendance. So I can't wait till the evening because the video will stay that long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on take attendance and then stick on that. So we're going to take attendance one more time. So let's assume they're all absent from the evening class. I will click on that and then we're done. So if you look at it now, select the class, you can see that basic one is no longer there because the attendance has been taken twice in that particular day. And that solves that particular problem for us. So in a jiffy, we'll get back on that. So as we can see now, we'll see that the record, the take a class, sorry, the basic one is no longer there because morning and evening attendance have been taken for basic one. Now, assuming evening attendance has not been taken, basic one will still be there, but once the attendance is taken twice in one day, the class will no longer be there. But in the next day, you will see the class appearing up again. All right, so that has been tested. Maybe in another video, I would keep this data here and then test that over again so that you see it. Okay, so we can go home from here. That has settled down the attendance works. Let us now look at how score imputing works. So we want to impute the score here. So let's see how we'll be able to do that. So I want to impute the score for English basic one. We already have scores imputed for maths basic. Okay, let's work on maths now. If you look at it now, I can click on maths basic one. There are two sets of scores imputed already in this. So if I click on this, I have a set of scores imputed. If I click on that, you can see. So we want to view scores for this. Okay, so there are no scores for this. This was a dot assessment created. Now I wanted to create another imputing. For that, we didn't do so. We must have made twice of the math basic one there. So what the scores have been imputed here for this one. Now I can add scores to this assessment, or I can create a new assessment on the mathematics and then key scores into it. So let's look at that. Let's look at imputing of scores here. So okay, so that was a flipper there. We'll look at maths basic one. We've picked the subject. So here we're supposed to pick an assessment. These are two assessments. One is empty. Not that I can add scores to it. It's empty without any scores. Still on maths. It's still maths basic one. But there's a different type of assessment. While the other one is still on maths basic one, it's a different type of assessment. So we will look into that. So we're picking assessment here. Yeah, so that's that about that. So as you can see, in the assessment list, when you pick a subject, you come and pick an assessment. And then in this assessment list, you begin to see the assessment. So the normal assessment that comes from the automatic scoring is placed alongside the assessment that comes from the scoring. Now, it means that using this system, you could actually impute scores into assessments. You can input scores into automatic assessments. For example, one student does the automatic marked exam, another student does a manual exam. You can do it, but you can differentiate by just looking at the code. As you see, the code for this one says input, the source for this one says essay exam, and that is why this one is empty. If you look at it, no student has done any exam, so there is no score under it. As you can see, it's empty. Yes, so, but if you look at the other one, if we go back, of course, you can add scores to the assessment, even though it's an auto assessment. But if you come and look at here in this input setting, you can see that there are scores here already. The scores have been imputed for this particular one, as you can see. All right, so we can impute scores and add scores as we like, and we can create assessments manually and do that beautifully for every class. Okay, so I would have loved to impute a score. So create an assessment. Okay, so let's pick a subject. Let's assume I wanted to impute scores for English. I'll have to create a new assessment for that. As you can see, English has no assessment. So I click on new assessment. Okay, so we take advantage. Okay, so now as you can see, when we want to create an assessment and impute score freshly, we do this and the system automatically creates an assessment for us. And then we can see we want to impute the score for David Mean, for example. I can say David Mean scored 50 out of 100 in this particular assessment. So I submit that. So that's good. So I could impute another one again, as many as possible for that to be submitted. So I could impute for Donwana. You see Donwana as 60 over 100. And submit that. Yes, Donwana is gone. So we could look at our score list for this English, and you can see David, Min, and Donwana have scores 60 and 50. I can delete the score, could do whatever I like with it, but as many scores as I impute, the system organizes it well for me. And these are the scores for a particular assessment. So I can impute this. I can still check these scores inside my broadsheet, as you can see. So after imputing scores for these particular subjects, but the students are not registered for that yet. But since the attendance exists, we'll be able to look at it in the broadsheet for the teacher. So let's look at that and view for basic one. And you see the broadsheet for basic one. So that's it there. So now once we set up the students for the assessment, you will be able to see the score pile right there for that particular student, for that class. But because they are not registered for the class and the ones that are registered are not taking English, did not taking, this teacher is not set to teach English. Yeah, that's what you can see. So if we were the teacher to teach English, we would have seen these scores that were imputed into English. So I'm going to try to do the same thing. We'll go to our score impute and impute something for maths. Okay, so we create an assessment for maths. I think we already have an existing assessment for math without scores. Yes, so we could take advantage of that one and just impute scores into it too. Okay, so this one, okay, no, that's different. So let's just create a new assessment and impute some scores in there. So we would, yeah, just put for David Moon. Yeah, okay, just put 50 in there. Okay, so 50 and 100. So we submit that. So that's let's go to our score list. So we have a third assessment now with information for David Moon as well. And then let's check our broadsheet for that. And see basic one. Under math, you can see 50 for David Moon. So David Moon has been given 50. If I input scores there, the scores come directly under the subjects and piles up. So remember, all your assessment must total up to 100. As you input them into the system for each student. So you could create scores as many times as you like, but remember, they must all total to 100. And the system is going to pile them up together and put them all in the broadsheet for the teacher's view. So that's about that. That takes care of itself as we go on. All right, so we look at another ones. We've seen the score structure here. We've seen the subject offerings. We've seen the basic breakdown. We're going to look deeper into home and other data. So let's look deeper into that. So let's go home. We've seen how to impute scores into a particular assessment and how to look at them in the broadsheet. And then we're going to send the impute library. We've seen everything that has to do with the teacher. It's time to log out of the teacher's platform and then log into the student platform as we begin to explore what other wonderful things we can do with the students. So we've seen the admin, we've seen the teacher. Now we take advantage of students. Now, as a student, the first student we want to look at is I or Nova. Okay, so our password is web schools. Okay, shouldn't say that out loud. So that is I or Nova. Here we go. So let's look at this. Now, for a student, we have register as subjects. We have take exam, attend the class, change password data, pay online. We can pay your school fees and get, verified. And then we have the e-library and what's that now? Sorry about that. As you can see, when the student clicks attend the class, she cannot attend the class now. There are ways for her to attend the class. Either she pays her fees manually to the school or she pays online. If she pays manually to the school, she can be approved from the finance portal, which we have not gone into, we're going to go into. And if she doesn't do that, she can also be approved by paying online. So she's going to try to pay online now. Okay, so we are on this platform. Before we can log in as a student to do much, we have to still set up some things for the student from the finance platform. So let's go to the finance platform, and then we look at this ABC. Okay, that's finance right there. Sorry, I wanted to go into admin. So this is the finance platform. The password is still a whopping ABCD. Once we log in, we'll see down on the right. So here we are in the finance platform. So from the finance platform, we can actually do a lot. We need to add fees to classes because without that, we won't be able to test the online payments. So let's do that. Let's add fees to some classes and then we'll see how we'll do that. So I'm going to add 100,000 Naira to basic one and submit that right there. So as we can see now, if we look at payments or fees, yes, we have basic one for 100,000 naira. Now there's still students in there that have not been approved, so I'm gonna take advantage of that. I'm not gonna approve her. If her approved from here, she'll be able to attend classes. But I want to approve these students from the online payments. That just give us a quick brief view of the online payment system, and that should be that about that. So let's do that. I'm gonna go ahead. Now remember, I can disapprove all students even if I approve them right now. That's the disapprove button right there. I've created the feed. I can have a school account. I can create payment. I believe that's straightforward. Now, if I want to disapprove all students, all I have to click this button, and all the students that have been approved will be disapproved. So that I'm going to do that. I'm going to approve Babaji Dadinkoa right here. Let me approve him. So approved. I want to just test the not approved button. So if you look at it now, we see that everybody still says approved. Babaji Dadinkoa says unapproved because he has been approved, as you can see from here. So I'm going to go now and click my disapprove all students button. Now that should do me some magic, and the Babaji Dadinkoa should be disapproved. As you can see, yeah. So if the students pay and we approve them and they attend classes, the school can actually disapprove all students at the go at the beginning of the meantime, and then all the students are locked out as they begin to pay their school fees. They get access back into the system, allowing the order in that system. Okay, so now I don't want to approve. I want to use this opportunity to look at that particular one. So I'm going to go home now and then log in as a student. And we're going to test first out of all the buttons on the student, we're going to test the online payment button. That will be our first test. Okay, so we've logged in as the student. We can view report card, but we want first pay online. Now you can see the online payment system has extracted the amount to pay, and then the name of the student has been extracted, the last name of the student. It has created an automatic reference for the payment, and then you can just pay using this button. Now when you click on pay, it gives you an alert, and you can just pay 100,000 naira. and you put in your ATM details. This is a test. So we just click and play. So let's look at which one we want card. Okay. I want to test the success of payment. So we click on that. And then the system rose, and then yes, payment successful. So now that payment has been successful, we can confirm payment. And if we confirm payment, yes, you can see your payment is successful and you have been approved to view classes. So now we can actually enter into the class. We have been approved as a result of this. So I can click on attend class. You can see I have access. Another student will use the finance to open up the class for that particular student. But this particular student did not have access before, but now this student has access. All right, so that solves that problem. So we're gonna go into classes. We're familiar with classes from the teachers. I also attend code class here, but I want to start by entering the chat class first of all, and then let us now go and take advantage. Now, there's a lot of problem here because we can see that there is no classwork for this student. Why? Because she has not registered the subject when the classworks were being set. So she doesn't have any classwork. So we're going to go back home now and go and log in as a student that has actually registered that particular classwork. So I think we have a handful of them. Let's just look at some names from the admin and pick out some of them that have actually done that. So we have a handful of them. Let's look at students. Okay, David Min. Davida Min. So let me go log in as Davida Min. Okay, so log in as Davida Min. What's the name? It's gonna be Davida Min. Davida Min. Password still same web schools. Login. Okay, so there's David Amin. Now, David Amin doesn't have a picture. I can decide to add that from this change password / data portal. I just want to add a picture for David Amin. David Amin is a girl, so we need a girl's picture. So let me just take this. Yeah, so that's. Okay, so there is this. There's David Amin. So David Amin is here with us. And the date of birth is also there with us. Okay, so to parents, Mr. and Mrs. Min. The system has converted the date of birth since it's not written to an integer. That's why you see this right here. But if the student fixes in their date of birth, that goes away. And we have the normal date of birth. Oh, yeah, right. So here we are. Now, we were about to attend the class, and we attended class with a former student, but we couldn't see any class. We can see the student has not been approved. Now, we're not going to use the online payment to approve this one. We are going to try to use the admin to approve this particular student. So I just want to use the admin. I'm going to cheat through the browser. This is supposed to open up in a different place, but I'm going to just use it to approve the student. So let's go through finance to approve David Amin. Sorry, I almost went into admin there. Let's go into finance to approve David Amin. Okay. Yeah, so let's approve David Amin. We approve David Amin right there. Okay, so she's not approved. Let's approve her. Now, because David Amin paid cash to the school, that's why she's been approved in this way. While Ionova paid online and she was approved in a different way. So you can see. So let's go back to her. Okay, so that will actually notify the student. So we might have to log in again since we went into admin on the same portal as the student. So let me just go home and log in again as a student. That is David Amin. Okay, and we enter the password. Okay, so there we are with David Amin. So we can now attend the class without seeing that blockage. You can see it has gone. She now has access to classes. Now, because David Amin was registered, you can see she has the classwork now. Now, Ionova does not have any classwork because she didn't register, and here we can see the classwork now. So we have so much classwork to take since the beginning. The first one was the essay classwork. So here we have a bunch of essay, fill in the gap, objective, manual, and 2 manual image classworks towards the top. All right, so we can take all this classwork now. Now, apart from that, students also have access to buttons here. Before we begin taking classwork, let's see the student can actually talk into the class, talk to the class, talk to the teacher, random talk, say hi. She can submit that, and then we'll see Dr. Amin, saying hi, as you can see here, hi. Dr. Amin can raise her hand, meaning that she wants to reach the teacher. So she could just click a ringer here, and that ringer will pop up in the teacher's platform, telling the teacher that Amin needs special attention. So this allows us to have the kind of, you can see it doesn't reflect here, but by the time we log in as the teacher, we would see that reflecting. Now, because Ayonova had one, you should have checked it out because the teacher actually scolded her in the class. Do we remember that? Yes. So next time we log in as Ayonova, we will take advantage of that particular one and see that the teacher has actually scolded her from that particular place. All right, so that's that. All right, so David Amin sets that up, and that solves our problem. Okay, so the student can still upload image. Let's look at that. Pick a file, any file. Just pick the company logo. No issue physical to that. So David Amin uploads the file. The teacher can also see what she has uploaded, as you can see. We've read that twice already. So, so if you look at how we're going to do that. So we uploaded image. She raised the hand. She said something. These are basically the things students can do because they need to be more quiet and listen to the teacher. All right. So that's that about that. So let's now look at the classwork as the students take them. So we're going to take our first classwork, which is at the bottom of the page. This one. Let's take it. Okay, so you see the classwork is a manual image classwork. So it means it's asking me to actually upload an image to answer my teacher's image. Now, the beauty of it is that if this was notes, they're using at home, the student in the house comfortable with their notes, and the teacher in his house with his textbook, this could be a picture of questions. The A here could be a picture of questions from the textbook, the real textbook with the teacher, and the student having solved will just simply upload an answer to that. I'm going to upload A as my answer also. That's the Vanova logo. And boom, that question has been done. You can see it will change. You can see what it's showing us here now that your manual classwork has been submitted, but your teacher is yet to mark it. So the admin has submitted this particular one, and because it's manual, the teacher has to mark it. So let's check the second one. The second one is also a manual image question. This is one that he asks what's a dog, and then we put up this image. So she could say dog's a bird. Everybody will be there. So submit that. And also you see the second question. Also we display the same thing that the question has been marked, but we have not taken advantage of that. You can see your manual classwork has been submitted, but the teacher is here to mark it. We're still going to have to log in as teacher and mark that. Now let's take this one, this particular classwork. Now this is a theory classwork, not a manual image classwork. So we can answer that one. And okay, no, this is a manual classwork also, but no, it's not a manual image. As you can see, there is no place to upload an image, so you just have to answer. So I can say a dog is a friendly animal. A dog is a friendly animal. Well, full stop. And teacher could mark this at his own discretion and, of course, append the score appropriately to solve that particular problem. Okay, so we still have classworks to take, 3 classworks. Now, before we go ahead, we'd like to test a particular button that we have not tested from the teacher's portal. Now, if you look at that, that's also manual. You can see it's telling us 3 now that the teacher submitted and where to mark. Now, if you look at this one, this particular one is not manual. That should be filling the gap. Can you see? So the system automatically generates 3 gaps, gap 0, gap 1, gap 2, and tells you to fill it in. So it says mention 3 dogs and 3 gaps. So I could say Rottweiler. Rottweiler. Yeah, so let's see. Okay, is it Rottweiler? No. Rottweiler. Rottweiler. Doberman. double O, okay? German Shepherd. So Shepherd should be E-H-E-R. Yeah. Alright, so the Shepherd is here. So submit that in there. And that's the end to answer that question. Now, before we go ahead and answer all the questions, you can see the gap filling question has been marked. Yes, I scored 0, so I actually failed the 3 because of the order the teacher wanted them. Okay, so Rottweiler, Doberman, German Shepherd. Yes, I was wrong. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so that's for my filling the gaps. We're supposed to look at the manual element and the others, but I want to show how the classwork is marked in terms of its rotation and structure in there. And we're going to take advantage of that right now, so let's go ahead. And I want to lock the classwork, so I'm going to go to a different browser now, and I'm going to log in as a teacher. I'm going to log in as a teacher, as that teacher, in a different browser. I'm in a different browser now. I'm going to log in as ay.python. Yes. And then, okay, teacher here, the teacher login as ay.python. I've got this password. Okay, so there it is. So we go to teacher class now, and we can then lock classwork. So I'm just going to lock the objective classwork. For those students who have done their classwork, you can see the system is going to tell me to mark assessment at some stage. You can see this, mark this assessment, mark this assessment. But for the one that has already done, it tells me the student scored 0 in that particular assessment. Okay, so I guess it must be a spelling thing because so now by the time you come here and look at this, you could click to mark assessment here, but that's not what I'm testing immediately now. Go back and mark this assessment for them. But first now I want to do is lock classwork. So I want to lock classwork. The multiple choice classwork which has not been done. So let me lock that one and it should disappear. Well, let's just lock the last one. This is an essay classwork. Okay, so let's lock that classwork. So you can see it gives me an opportunity to close the classwork and then we just submit that. Now the classwork has been locked. The system is now going to give me the opportunity to open that classwork that I have locked. So I lock the classwork right there. I would have to open the classwork that was locked. So you can see right there, open classwork. So it's going to ask me if I want to open that classwork because I just locked it up. And the system is going to ask me if I want to open the classwork. I'm going to specify if I want to actually open it or not open it. So just get there. Okay, so we've done that. We've locked the classwork. And then we could just go ahead and check. Let's go to student. So go to the student now. And then we will see that there was 2 take classworks here before. You can see we have 1 now because the teacher has locked it. Now I'm going to open the classwork back as a teacher for the students to do, and you will see that classwork actually return to 2 instead of 1. So the classwork returns to the students. So if I go in as a student now, you can see I have 2 take classworks there. That's how the classwork would lock works. The teacher is feeling that students are wasting time. You should have finished, locks up the classwork, and students can take advantage of that. So if I wanted to take my objective classwork, I could look in here. What is a dog? It's an animal. I'll submit that. The system marks automatically for me. And I should see my score right there. So you can see now I scored 5. Oh, beautiful. Thank God. And then the essay classwork, because the system is asking me, what is a dog? Oh. So it's artificial intelligence as the man, so I can say a dog is a friendly animal. Full stop. I remember I always put full stop because the system knows where you stopped your sentence by full stop. So it's gonna mark, it's gonna give me a score. You know what I've done. Yes. Okay, so that's a nice score. Oh, so over 5, I scored 3.9. Yes, I wonder what the teacher put in there as the marking guide. All right, so that's the artificial intelligence actually rating my score for me. The teacher asked me what's a dog. The teacher was written something completely different. So I said dog is a friendly animal. So the teacher gave me a different thing. All right, so that's how the system works, marking automatically every single part of that. So because of these ones I've not been marked this through, I'll go as the teacher now, and I'm going to mark it. And once I mark one of them, I'll be able to see firsthand how that works. Let me go on as teacher. Okay, so here I am as a teacher. I'm going to go ahead. Okay, can you see the teacher screen? I think we've not been able to see the teacher screen since because it's a different browser. Oh, sorry. So I'm going to go in there so that we'll see it. Okay, so but we've seen the students when I disappeared and came. Yes, so sorry about the here we are. We've seen the teacher's place now. This is the teacher's format. You can see mark this assessment, mark this assessment. There's a good now, I don't marked it already. So mark this assessment here. Okay, so you see that so lock classwork, you can see the button there. The lock classwork to disappear for any student that has not done it. The ones that have done it, you keep seeing. So I just mark this assessment. Let's mark this one for this particular student. Okay, so he also gave me an hey, what's a kite? And an image. And I can say, okay, well, I can comment and say that is not a kite. And I can give him a score of, let's just say 1. Yeah, 1.10. So you can see I have scored him, and his score will appear right there in the works of that I've done for him. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's look at that. That should be way down. Since the new information, yes, you can see. So this I give him that. Because I said comment, you can see that is not a kite. Okay, so that's that about that. So we've seen the score, we've seen that work, and that's how it happens when you mark. Now, David Mean, who is logged in here, will also see that I have marked. I have given her a score of 1. You can see this. This is it, and this is the 1 score. And you can see my the teacher's comment is that is not a kite. All right, so that's student is seen it and understands why it will give him a score of 5. Okay, so that solves that problem for us. So that's takes care. You can see David Mean has shown up in the class because David Mean has actually registered the subject automatically when the bulk registration was done, and that is why David Mean has popped up in the class. Okay, so that's basically how the class interface works. The exam interface is what we're going to go test next. We want to see when students do exams, what do they see? Yeah, let's just go go from there. So let's take an exam. Let's see how the exam setup is done. So we need to set up the exam controller. So right now, I'm going to go to the teacher's platform and log out as a teacher, set up the exam controller and log back in as a teacher. All right, so let's go home right here. I'm going to log out as the teacher. Well, I'm the teacher. And then I'm going to go into admin and create exam controller. So let's do that. Into the admin. And this is the exam controller here. So I'm just gonna select, I don't want to close the exam, I want the exams to be open, right? So if I close the exams, you'll be seeing this. So I'm just gonna try. Let's just close the exam and put text star here. You will see this information, this text showing up there. So let's do that. Let's do that. Now I'll close the exam. So as a student, let's see what the students will see when they click take the exam. You can see this text. Now, if as a school authority I decide that I want a few students to take advantage of this exam, I could still go to this exam controller here. And okay, sorry, you can't see this? Yes, so let me share. Let's move to the exam controller screen. Exactly. So can you see that now? Yes. Okay, so in the exam controller screen, you can see this. I believe we are on the same page. Yes. we on the same page? No, we are not, as the student we could see before. Okay. So share. So what we did before, I want to show us the student's screen. The student's screen. So if you look at it now, you can see what the student is seeing. Look at that. The student is seeing the exam is closed for now, we're working on it. Yes, but if we move again to the teacher's screen, we'll see why. The reason is because that is what is written in the text. That you can change it to whatever you want to be written there, and then the system will still work as it should. Okay, so we've seen that, and now I'm going to put the password here. I'm going to call minibar. That's my password, and then I'll change this to input. Exam is still closed. So once that is done, the system will then do something. So let's move to the student's screen, and we'll see what happens when we load that page. So you can see, instead of a display, we have an input box that wants us. The only way you can take exam is to put in minibar. Okay, so you can see now, minibar opens the door for the exams because we set the exam controller to input. If you set the exam controller to closed, it will display the text type. Set it to input and closed, it will display what's supposed to display. So now on this same page, so we can now decide to take exams as we like. So the students can then pick a subject, math physical. That's the only subject that exams have been created for, and it's still valid. That's why it's still showing. If the days pass, as you could realize, I put yesterday and tomorrow, between this day and tomorrow, this period, so that's why it's valid. Now, this is the exam, it's an essay exam. The students can click on that, and you can see the questions. What is AI? The most famous platform in the world is what's a bird? Cake is made of what? How many continents are there on Earth? So the student picks that to answer the question, and it says, what is AI? And you can take advantage of that. What is AI? And answer the question. What is AI? And you can see that AI is a way of creating intelligence in machines. Stop. Next question. Now, if you look down here, sorry not to have informed you of that, you can see that some questions are red at the bottom left of your screen. Some is green. The green question is the question I have done, which is question 1. But the blue one is the one that I'm currently at, and every red one means I have not done those questions. Okay, so this allows you to take track. As you can see, I have 5 questions in there. The randomizer has been removed. I'll return the randomizer and do a test. In that case, it will present to us just 3 questions and then randomize it effectively for us to do. But the randomizer has been removed now. That's where we can see all questions that have been set by the lecturer the way they have been set. All right, so that's that about that. So we go ahead and we answer the question. Next one's chat out on the world is WhatsApp. So you can say WhatsApp is the most famous chat platform in the world. Okay, so WhatsApp. All right, so WhatsApp is the most famous chat platform in the world. So that we can go to another question. As you see now, you can see down is green. Just red, this is not done then. Now I can choose to submit halfway. As you can see, my time is counting out on 14 minutes. If the time gets to an end, it will auto submit for me. But I'm not going to wait for that. But I want to show that I don't have to finish my questions to submit. I can choose to submit halfway, and the system will mark me accordingly. So you can see my score, 17 over 50. And then you can see here, we have for that display, we reload the page, and then we should see the scores. So you can see the scores I have here. I have 7, 6, 1, 1, 1 for that. That's how my scores are distributed. So the only one I actually got was what's there on most chat platform. I didn't do what's in there, so I have 1 over 10 there, 1 over 10, the other one, 1 over 10 on the other one. Yes. So that's how I got my total score, 17 over 50. So you could below the page to view your score details. All right, so that's that about that. So that's my total score. That's it. The system marks it. I can go home. Now, once I've done that exam, if I go to take exam again, maybe I'm going to trick the school. I'll say, okay, maybe I should take that exam. I still have the password, which is minibar, right? Okay, so let me take the exam. I go there. I see maths. I click on it, and then the assessment is gone. Why? Because I have done the assessment. You can see the query there saying, no, the exam has been set for this subject, or the current student has already written the exam and submitted. So an exam cannot be done twice on this platform. Okay, so that's that about taking exams for students, and that's how they take all the exams. It's quite nice. That's how they attend classes, as we've seen. We've seen them do that. They're going to see timetable, of course. We've seen the pay online system. The timetable displays this because the student is in basic one. And then we've seen the e-library. We can go to the e-library. Because that book was put in basic one, we have access to it. And you can read the book, as you can see here. Lecturers have access to delete a book or hide a book. As you can see, as students, I can read right on the platform. Whatever book the lecturer has uploaded there and solve my questions. And probably still snapped at the time. Probably lecturer can even tell me to take pages from some particular books, and I could do that. And yes, take advantage of the beautiful work done. So as a student, I can view that. You can see my report card is shown up. That's because I've done some work. The system is totaling and scoring me already because there's little assessment there. So I can actually view my progress gradually. And because I passed the first one, it's telling me one subject passed, zero failed. And it's showing me a graph of that, my core strengths. You can see maths basic one, my score. As I do more, you can see because I've done just this one, it has graded me on a C4. Number of students offering this course is 2. I am first. The other student has not done anything. That's the mean score. The maximum score is my score, as you can see. You can see my strength is fully mathematics. And then, yeah, I just have maths interactive. So this is supposed to be the interaction point where I have two assessments to work with, but because I don't, it's just one. The same thing here, this is supposed to be my shoot, my database, that's set to use, just one subject. Who's there? Who's there? Okay, so let's share screen into that. Sorry about that disturbance. So that's that about that. So that's our report card. So beautifully structured as it is, and then we could do this. So sorry about the disturbance prior to now. Okay, so that gives me that score 67% on average. As I do more, the system calculates even more deeply. The more classworks and calculates the overall percentage, the subject, and grants me my position. And then it gives me what I should have in there. So yes. So the color of this tick changes, and it changes to an X if the person gets to poor, the yellow X, and fail, the red X. But from good upwards and credits, you have different colors of ticks. Indigo will be the highest. For good, we have this deep blue tick. We have for credits and the rest of it. Orange and there. Okay, so the report card will continue to develop as I do more and more during the term. So parents can actually go and just click and look at the beginnings result board, and that's that about that. Okay. Okay, so that's that about that. So we could do more than that. So let's go home. For the students, we've been to see the report card. We've seen paying online. We've seen the e-library. So basically, that's all for students. And we've seen the admin. We've seen the finance structure of the software. All these things put together what makes the software work fantastically. Thank you for your attention. My name again is ay.python. If you feel there's much more we can add to the software before it is deployed for your school, please let me know. But for now, this is what we have for you. Thank you very much.